Do you remember how you found out that you had dyslexia?
I kind of remember. I remember one day coming home and my mom saying, "I think you have a little bit of dyslexia," and that's how I figured out.
Do you know what dyslexia is?
Kind of.
Can you tell me in your words what you think it is?
It kind of, in my words, it kind of sounds like, it gets a little harder for them. They think it differently, they do it differently, and it doesn't mean that they're bad at it or they're not smart.
Yeah, you're super smart, aren't you? How are you now advocating for Addie or others?
Well, we continue to do therapy opportunities for Addie. For other students, I think for all the years I've been teaching, how many kids that were maybe on IEPs or 504s maybe had the same outcome, maybe were dyslexic as well, and how many students did we miss through the years. My biggest regret is not having the information and not pursuing this in elementary school. I think the earlier you would get therapy for dyslexia, the easier it would be for the learner.
Mm-hmm. Potentially 20% of our student body struggles with dyslexia to some degree.
That's around 2,500 students in Liberty Public Schools.
You will touch the lives of one of these students.
It appears that a dyslexic child either finds a way through the learning challenges and succeeds, or they do not and their lives take drastically different courses.
How can we help these students navigate the challenges?
Think about it. Have you been that teacher who's maxed out all your knowledge, tapped your resources, and still struggled to reach a student?
Now, do you remember how that felt?
Were you ready to give up because you didn't know what else to do?
Take a few seconds and think. I've been there.
I've been there.
When I really didn't know what else to do because everything I was trying didn't work.
We've all been there.
Now stop and think about this child. Can you imagine how he or she felt?
Magnify your experiences to every day, every single day of a child's school experience.
Notice we haven't said anything about reading specifically.
Dyslexia is not contained to letters, numbers, spelling, reading, or writing, like you may be thinking.
Dyslexia is that kiddo who's running a play and goes right when he or she is supposed to go left.
Dyslexia is the kiddo who appears to not follow directions because he or she cannot process the multi-step directions that you just listed off.
The child might be able to recall the first or the last thing that you said, and that's it.
Dyslexia is the student in music who cannot recall the notes, even though you've taught them, showed them, played it, and said it again.
Sure, they can hear the notes, and they might even be able to play it from memory, but they cannot master the name of the notes.
Dyslexia might be the kiddo in social studies who can talk about the happenings of the major event, like the Civil War, but he or she cannot name a single battle or the event itself.
So, what is the LPS toolbox?
The question is, what can we make it together?
Our vision is to create a resource that will allow teachers to find support to assist students struggling with dyslexia. The vision is that this resource will aid our understanding and growth in the areas of skills, instructional strategies, and accommodations. Our goal is to collectively develop this resource to meet your needs in the classroom as we learn and understand how to support neurodiversity in our classrooms. We need your help to do this. How do we support these kids? We are going to break into some discussion topics to gather feedback and build an LPS toolbox. Please drop off questions or comments with the principal at the end of this session. Here are some ideas to begin with, but you are definitely not limited to them. What questions do you have about dyslexia? What resources do you need in your building? What do you need in the teacher toolbox? What skills? What instructional strategies? What accommodations? Let us know as well, what information do you need to know that may be missing right now? What resources can we help provide? What are the best ways to communicate those needs to help this process grow? This is the very beginning of our journey with dyslexia. As you discuss the topics, let's try to create two-way communication and help us get this right. We have children who are talented, creative, innovative, and problem solvers that do not know they can succeed. It is our responsibility to help find the extraordinary in every child. We know it's a great challenge to ask any teacher to do specialized work, but the rewards for this challenge can literally transform a child from thinking that he or she is unintelligent to helping them grow up and knowing that they are a generation of exceptional dyslexics.
Tell me how you feel about reading.
I know when I was little I did like to read, but as I got older it got harder, so I decided that I didn't like reading very much anymore. But after I started doing tutoring for dyslexia, now I love reading, and it's actually very hard to get me to stop reading. I know one time one of my ELA teachers in middle school actually had to take my book away from me.